Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Pitch Talk.
We are fans of football dropping vlogs, videos and podcasts on the beautiful game.
Check out our videos on YouTube and Instagram's IGTV,
including special feature segments,
5 minutes with the G,
the Straight Shootin View,
coaching with JBK. We produce, record and edit video content
and audio on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts,
Verbal, Podomatic,
Anchor,
Spotify
and other podcast platforms.
Join the Pitch Talk revolution on Twitter, Instagram,
Facebook
and www.pitch-talk.com.
The pitch is where we eat.
The pitch is where we sleep.
And the pitch is where we talk.
I can see you now. I can see you now and then. I can see you now.
Welcome to
the Straight Shootin View.
What is up, people? My name is Straight Shootin LJA, and welcome to another episode of the Straight Shootin View. Now, what I want to talk about here is, well, Lord Sugar. Bit of a rarity, isn't it? But yeah, so I want to talk about Lord Sugar and some of his comments in regards to the women's European Championships. Now, Lord Sugar had a little back and forth with Gabby Logan, talking about the lack of men in terms of commentary and punditry during the Women's European Championships. Now, Lord Sugar was talking about a lack of diversity, and I said a lack of men. But it's kind of like, well, it's the Women's European Championships. Let them have their shine. Let the women have their shine. It's their tournament. And at the end of the day, it's like I said, it's their tournament. It's the Women's European Championships. And the fact of the matter is, it's like, oh, there's a lack of men. It's like, well, so what? There are actually men in the women's game. There are male coaches. Even the England coach was Mark Sampson for a while. So it's not as if there's not men in the women's game. And yeah, there are very few women in the men's game, so vice versa. And there's only a couple of commentators who have commentated on the men's game. I mean lead commentators, not co-commentators. So you've had like Robyn Cowan, Jackie Oatley, Vicki Sparks. Those are the three main ones over the years who have been females commentating on the men's game. And God, some of the archaic comments that have come through about them over the few years have just been embarrassing. And those same sorts of people seem to have come out in support of Alan Sugar, who, for me, comes across a bit like Roy Keane. It's like, dude, why are you bitter? It's like, number one, why are you bitter? Number two, why do you even care? If you don't like it, don't watch it. But your critical views are potentially going to turn some people off watching the Women's European Championships. And really and truly, for a growing game, that's not fair to do. So it's like you see a lot of the cretins coming out from under their rocks supporting Alan Sugar's comments, jumping on that bandwagon and going, oh yeah, oh, I don't even watch women's football, oh, the standard's dire and all that. And it's like, well, if you don't watch it anyway, why are you commenting on the lack of diversity that Sugar's talking about? So there's a lot of people talking about both sides of their neck. But as well, you've also got you've got this issue, in my view, where the playing field gets leveled and people are fuming about it. And you can tell what kind of people are fuming about it, because to me they will be the same kind of people who will moan and complain, oh, foreigners are taking our jobs, and it might not be fair to make that kind of generalization, but it's not that much of a leap. It is not that much of a leap for someone to go from, oh, there's not enough men in the women's game doing commentary, to, oh yeah, oh, I'm a hardcore Brexit voter, and I'm not going to get political, because don't do that on this show, that's the Straight Shootin Rants I do that on. But the fact is, it's the same sort of archaic kind of views that permeate a lot of people in this country, unfortunately. And as I said, the Women's European Championships, it's about women's football. It's about women playing football, women enjoying it, and trying to get the next generation of women, the next generation of girls playing the game. So if it's all completely dominated by men, it's not going to achieve that goal. I've always said that I wouldn't want the Premier League running the FAWSL, for instance, because I wouldn't want the same mistakes made with the FAWSL that have been made with the Premier League. I just wouldn't want the same mistakes because there have been way too many of them. Yes, the Premier League is massively profitable, and it's more equitable than most other leagues, but it is one of them ones where it still has its problems. It still plunders grassroots football. And I wouldn't want that for the women's game. Because as I said, it's like, you've got to learn from your mistakes. Don't make your mistakes, but learn from them. And there's already enough kind of good old boy networks within the men's game. You don't need to be having that in the women's game. Give the women their opportunity to commentate on their own game. It's like there are some people complaining about Alex Scott being on MOTD because she's not playing at the top level of the men's game. But if you don't give her the opportunity to prove herself, how else is she going to prove that she's as good, if not better, than most male pundits? I enjoy her punditry. She's better than a lot of male pundits who have played in the men's game at Premier League level for 10, 15 years. She's a student of the game. She's very, very knowledgeable. So it's one of them just to say, oh, we need more men commentating on women's game. To me, it's archaic. At the end of the day, if those women, such as I said, Robyn Cowan, Vicki Sparks, if they're good enough to be commentating, then they're good enough to do it for the men's game or the women's game. To me, it doesn't matter. It's all about talent. It's all about talent. It's all about credibility. It's all about being good at your job. If you're a student of the game, but you're not getting an opportunity because you're of a certain ethnicity or you're of a certain gender, then you need to look at the system. And if you're one of those people who thinks, oh, it should be all men commentating on football, whether it be men's, women's, whatever, then you are part of the problem. You are part of holding up that system that holds others down and holds others back. So bring your views into the future. Bring your views into the present. And at the end of the day, you have to encourage diversity. It's all good having different people from different walks of life, different perspectives, different viewpoints, commentating on the women's game and also commentating on the men's game. I don't mind women commentating on the men's game as long as they're good commentators and they know what they're talking about. Because there's a lot of, and you will have heard from episode 100 of the Straight Shootin View, I think great commentary to a large extent is a lost art. And I'm talking about men's commentators. I'm talking about guys like Sam Matterface. I'm talking about other commentators as well who I'm not overly keen on. You look at how often Jonathan Pearce is used for women's commentary. I'm not a fan of his, and I never really have been. So just because you're a male, it doesn't give you a divine right to be the only one able to talk about football or able to commentate on football. But that's just my take on it. You know what, I want to know your views. www.pitch-talk.com is the official website. You can find our podcast there, vlogs there, and much, much more. YouTube.com/Pitch Talk for all the videos. Facebook.com/Pitch Talk. Become a fan, become a friend, become a member of the group. Join the footballing revolution we're working so hard to create. At Pitch Talk on Twitter. Tweet with us, follow us, see what we're up to. At Pitch Talk on Instagram as well for podcast previews, images, and more. We're on Reddit. Find us on there. Find us on TikTok as well. You know what? It is one of them ones. We are in so many places. Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Verbal, Anchor, Player FM, TuneIn Radio. So many places. Amazon Music. All of these places you can find a Pitch Talk podcast on. But you know what? I'm out of time here. So thank you for your time. And I'll see you next time on the Straight Shootin View. Take care, peeps.
Join the Pitch Talk revolution.
Check out the official Pitch Talk website.
www.pitch-talk.com. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Pitch Talk.
We are fans of football dropping vlogs, videos and podcasts on the beautiful game.
Check out our videos on YouTube and Instagram's IGTV,
including special feature segments,
5 minutes with the G,
the Straight Shootin View,
coaching with JBK. We produce, record and edit video content
and audio on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts,
Verbal, Podomatic,
Anchor,
Spotify
and other podcast platforms.
Join the Pitch Talk revolution on Twitter, Instagram,
Facebook
and www.pitch-talk.com.
The pitch is where we eat.
The pitch is where we sleep.
And the pitch is where we talk.
I can see you now.